she's Marijke.
And she's Jen. And this is Cat's Chat.
So the question for today is, what is paired speech therapy coaching?
Okay. Serious face back on.
Back in the room.
Back in the room. Parent coaching.
Parent coaching is great. I love parent. What is it? It's great. We're giddy. Woo!
Woo, we're giddy.
Parent coaching is
Parent coaching does make me giddy, even just the idea of it.
Yeah.
Because it is a really fun thing to do. It's a challenging thing to do because speech therapists love to do things with kids.
Yeah.
And we get in there and we're like, oh, I've forgotten to teach the parent how to do this. So the really important thing is that we're more doing with the parent and then letting the parent practice, depending on their styles.
Yeah.
Some parents like to be in the thick of it. Other parents like to watch a little bit more, but we try to incorporate that as much as possible. What ages do you think we use parent coaching probably the most?
I suppose it would be the early years, early intervention a lot.
0 to 3?
0 to 3, maybe 4.
Depending on
it's really that idea. Parent coaching is really that idea that, the SLTs recognize the parents as the primary not only caregiver, but educator and interventionist for their child. So it's all well and good for kiddos to sit with us for half an hour, and do stuff and to work on techniques. But if the parents don't have those skills at home, it's going to be harder to carry over. So while we might see a child an hour a week, the rest of that week they're with the parents. So we want to empower the parents to have the same techniques that are in our head to give them a go at home.
So it's like what we're doing in the therapy session multiplied by the amount of hours then that a parent can spend with the child, which means we're going to see progress.
Yeah.
And we're not really going to see much progress if it's just the therapist.
Exactly.
Isn't it? That's the key.
Mm-hmm.
What have you found is kind of the most important thing to keep in mind with parent coaching, and what do parents need to know about parent coaching?
I suppose for parents, I would just encourage them to give it a go, to take on board and to watch the SLT, watch the techniques, listen to what they're saying, and try. And give it a go while you're there in the session, because then the SLT can say, that was really good, try it this way, or do you see how your child responded, so that you can see the positive reactions right away. And then at home to just say, I'm just going to go for it. I'm going to try this technique. And I'll often say to parents, okay, I want you to talk to me right now about when do you think you might use this technique, or to sit down at home and we maybe write down some ideas, like if we're coaching about play skills and their favorite toy is their kitchen set. Okay, well, what can we do with the kitchen set besides put an egg in the frying pan? What else is there to do?
Yeah.
And helping parents to come up with the ideas, because we know from research, if you come up with the idea, you're more likely to do it and to follow through and have success with it. So it's a balance of SLTs helping parents to come up with the ideas that work within their home.
And it's for them to be able to use the strategies within their daily lives, isn't it? It's not that they're turning into speech therapists. Is that they are, when it's mealtime, when it's bedtime, when it's bath time, when they're playing with their kids, that they're using some strategies that will help improve that child's language skills or speech skills based on what they're doing. And 1 or 2 goals at a time. I'm not going to give you
Baby
15 things to work on, because nobody can do that. Yeah. That's just not feasible.
I often say to parents, like, pick this one skill, this one thing that you're going to do, and for 10 minutes each day, if you can, focus on this technique. And it might happen throughout the rest of the week, but for this 10 minutes or for dinner time or for bath time, you're just conscientiously make a concerted effort to use this technique, because the more you focus on it and practice, the more gets into your muscle memory, and you just start to do it naturally.
Yeah.
So take that time to really make an effort to do it, and then you'll find you're just starting to do it without having to remember.
And with really young children, online therapy, you can't work directly with some kids who won't be able to really engage online. We can't expect that. So that's when it's such a valuable tool to do it online, because you can coach a parent through it. They can have the headphones on in their home where the kid's really comfortable and it's a natural setting and they're doing what they're usually doing. We can have the camera off so we're not distracting anybody, and we can, at the end of that, shine a spotlight on all the good things that happened, because you don't often notice all the really good things that have come out of what you were doing. So it's nice to have somebody go, when you did that, did you see what he did? He did this for the first time, he did that. And sometimes you don't even notice because you're focusing on what you're doing.
Yeah.
So it's really nice to be able to have that and to have those skills.
Fricky agrees.
Yeah, somebody's at the door.
And just to throw a spanner in the works of that, if you've got a parent whose kids maybe been childminders from the morning till they finish work, and so for 5 days a week they're with somebody else, and it might sort of, the parent brings for therapy for half an hour or so once a week, but for the majority of the time when they do have a kid, the kids have to sleep. So what happens then? Does the childminder do the therapy session instead of the parent, or is it best that the parent does it and then tells the childminder?
That depends on the family. If it's something like that with a childminder spending the most time, or it can be a grandparent. Sometimes if it's possible to have both, it's great. Because on the weekends they're doing more play-based stuff, and some childminders would be happy to do these activities and some won't be willing to do it. I've had grandparents, I've had childminders, and either of those would work.
I've had some great childminders come in and work through the sessions and then feedback the information to the parents. I love to have as many adults join in, even if it's dad one week, mom the next week, granny one week, childminder the next week.
As long as they tell us who's going to attend.
Yeah, we like to know who's going to be there.
Because sometimes we prep the session based on what we've taught somebody.
Yeah.
So you want to probably know who's going to attend, so you know what they need to learn next.
Yeah.
So what your goal will be in that session. So that would be really helpful.
Yeah, it
Fricky
can be.
disagrees with that.
No, sorry, Fricky. You can't come out now. But yeah, I suppose. It's nice to have a consistent person who comes each week. I would always welcome, face to face, I'd welcome 2 adults into a room with me. I wouldn't want more because that's just too overwhelming. And that would be the same online. Is I might have mom and dad or granny and dad or childminder. If we can have more than one, fantastic. And it is nice if there's one consistent person, so somebody knows what we're doing. But I mean, honestly, we have to go with what works for the family.
Yeah.
So what might be, having the parents there is best for one family, might be better for another family for it to be the childminder. And we're kids. We can go with whatever.
Yeah, and sometimes other family members like aunts and uncles and so on, as long as it's somebody who might be doing some of this work with them. Because especially with young children, it's so important that you show what needs to be done and you help teach them how to do it.
Yeah.
And if it's just you and the child, you're going to have a long conversation afterwards trying to explain what it is.
Exactly.
And sometimes it's better to show,
Yeah.
isn't it, than it
Much
than it is
easier to
just
show and to coach
explain.
than to explain it later.
Yeah.
Definitely.
If you have any questions,
Give us a call.
send in your questions and we'll try our best to answer them.